Question 5. There is a negative correlation, meaning a negative connection, between the number of hours a student watches television and his or her social studies test score. Which scattered plot below displays this correlation? That means here's the test score, that's the arrow going up and down, and the test score starts at 0, goes up to 50, and the top is 100, and this is the hours he's watching TV, 5 to 10. So the question is, which scattered plot below displays this correlation with a negative correlation, negative connection between the number of hours the student watches television and his test score? Well, that means as the hours go up, the test score should be going down. Or as the test score goes up, the hours should be going down. But the way they make it in this plot is they show the test score and the amount of hours watching TV starts at 0, and it makes it 0 to 10 is on the x-axis. That's the amount of hours watching TV. 0 to 100 is the test score going up and down. So draw a line through the amount of hours being watched TV and the test score. So in answer 1, the test score is about 75. Let's say it's around 75. And you just watch TV for, let's say, about an hour. Then it goes up, then it goes down, test score goes up and down. You make an arrow, you make a line through the scattered plot, you'll see that the test score is not affected by how many hours the person's watching TV. There must be something wrong with the test. Let's try answer 2. As he's watching more TV, going from 0 to 5 to 10 hours of watching TV, his test scores are going up. How do you know that? Because you make a line, you see the test score starts at about 20, goes up to 45, goes down to 10, goes up, and it goes all the way up nearly to 100. You make a line through these stats, a straight line, you'll see as he's watching more TV, his test scores are going up to 100. So this is also something wrong with that answer, because we said there's a negative correlation, a negative connection between his test score and the amount of time he's watching TV. Negative correlation means when one of them is positive, the other one is negative. If the test score is going up, that means the amount of hours watching TV is going down. If the test score is going down, that means the amount of TV being watched is going up. Let's try answer 3. Answer 3, his test score is fluctuating much more. It starts at nearly 100, goes down to 50, goes up to 75, up to 80, up to 100, down to 50. It goes up and down a lot, but in the middle of them, the mean, if you make a line through the middle, you'll see that the test score just about stays the same. It's not really affected by the amount of hours of TV he's watching. So that cannot be the correct answer. Let's try answer 4. His test score starts at 100, and he watches a little TV. His test score goes down. He realizes what he did. He stops watching TV. His test score goes up. He celebrates. His test score goes down. He stops watching. His test score goes up. If you make a line through these dots, you see that as the hours of TV are going from 5 to 10 hours, his test score is going from 100 down to about 20. There must be some multiple choice questions that he guessed correctly. So the correct answer is answer 4. Answer 4 is, as the test score goes down, the hours of TV are going up, and as the hours of TV are going up, the test score is going down. So the correct answer to answer 5, to question 5, is answer 4. Question 6. Jack bought 3 slices of cheese pizza and 4 slices of mushroom pizza for $12.50. That means 3 slices of cheese and 4 slices of mushroom, meaning 3 slices of cheese plus 4 slices of mushroom, cost him equals $12.50. Grace bought 3 slices of cheese and 2 slices of mushroom for $8.50, meaning 3 slices of cheese plus 2 slices of mushroom equals $8.50. The question is, what is the cost of 1 slice of mushroom? That's the question. So how do we answer this question? Well, let's see what we have in common. We have both of them bought 3 slices of cheese, so let's subtract one equation from the other, and this way we'll get rid of the cheese. We'll be able to find the mushrooms, especially if the mushrooms are under the cheese. So what we're going to do is, we're going to subtract one equation from the other. The reason why you're allowed to subtract one equation from the other is whatever you subtract, an equation means that one side is equal to the other. When you subtract from one side of the equation, you have to do the same thing to the other side. So if you're subtracting 3c and 2m from one side, you have to subtract 3c and 2m from the other side. But the problem is, you don't have the 3 cheeses and 2 mushrooms on the right side. But since you know that 3 cheeses plus 2 mushrooms is equal to $8.50, you don't need to write the 3c plus 2m on the right side. You can just leave it as $8.50, what is it's equal to. Now, so on the left side, we're subtracting 3c and 3c. You're left with 0 c's. And so you don't even have to write that down, because you know that 3c minus 3c is 0. And 4m minus 2m is equal to 2m. And when you do that, if let's say the person would pay $12.50 and decides that they don't want to pay so much, they take off the 3 cheese and 2 mushrooms, they're going to pay $8.50 less, because that's how much 3 cheese and 2 mushrooms are equal to. To subtract $8.50 from the 3 cheeses and 4 mushrooms, subtract $8.50 from $12.50, because 3 cheeses plus 4 mushrooms is $12.50, subtract $8.50, you're left with $4. You're not left with $4, the owner of the pizza store is left with $4. But 2 mushrooms is equal to $4. How much is 1 mushroom pizza equal to? Well, you know that 2 is equal to $4, so divided by 2, you'll be left with 1 mushroom pizza. Is equal to 4 divided by 2 is $2. So 1 mushroom pizza costs $2, which is answer 2. Question 8. The bowling team at Lincoln High School must choose a president, a vice president, and a secretary. If the team has 10 members, which expression could be used to determine the number of ways the officers could be chosen? Well, you have 10, and you need to pick out 3. So this is the correct answer. 10 permutation 3, which just means that you have 10 people, and after you choose the first person, you'll only have 9 people. After you choose the second person, you'll only have 8 people, and after you choose the third person, you'll only have 7 people. But the thing is that you're able to choose 10 from 10 people. You choose groups of 3. One will be president, vice president, secretary, and therefore the equation of 10 permutation 3 is 10 factorial over 10 minus 3 factorial, which is equal to 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 over 10 minus 3 factorial is 7 factorial. And you have in top 7 factorial and bottom 7 factorial, so you just cross that out. And you have the amount of different ways you can set up who will be president, who will be vice president, who will be secretary. Is 9 times 8 is 72, times 10 is 720. 720 different ways. That's 10 permutation 3. What happens if you just have to pick out 3 people out of 10 to be in charge of the football team, and it's not the football team. You want to pick out 3 out of 10 people to be in charge of the bowling team, and we don't care, we don't have president, vice president, secretary, just have 3 people in charge. that would be 10 combination 3, which would equal to 10 factorial over 10 minus 3 factorial times 3 factorial, which is equal to 10 times 9 times 8 times 7 factorial over 10 minus 3 is 7, so that's 7 factorial times 3 factorial, which is equal to 3 times 2 times 1. So we're going to write it out. Times 3 times 2 times 1. Cross out the two 7 factorials. Cross them out. You're left with 9 times 8 times 7. 10 times 9 times 8 divided by 3 times 2 times 1. So 9 divided by 3 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 3 times 4 is 12. Times 10 is 120. So if order does not count, you don't have president, vice president, or secretary, so you could set it up 120 different ways. And if you do have president, vice president, and secretary, so you could set it up 720 ways. Over here, it doesn't ask you combinations and permutations. It tells you it's a permutation, meaning order counts. And the answer is, answer 3, you have 10, permutation 3, which happens to be answer 3. Question 9. Lenny made a cube in technology class. Each edge measured 1.5 centimeters. What is the volume of the cube in cubic centimeters? Well, volume is equal to length times width times height. The length is 1.5, the width is 1.5, and the height is 1.5. So, length times width times height is 1.5 times 1.5 times 1.5, which is equal to 3.375, which happens to be answer 2. Question 10. Which ordered pair is a solution to the system of equations x equals y and y equals x squared minus 2? Well, if x equals y and y equals x squared minus 2, but you know that y is equal to x, so you don't have to deal anymore with two variables. Now you could deal with just one variable. Since y equals x, so put in x instead of y, because it's the same thing, because y equals x. So instead of y equals x squared minus 2, how do we solve this? Well, we get everything to one side and make the other side equal to 0. Well, you subtract x from the left side will have nothing, so the left side will be 0. And equals x squared, you subtracted an x from the right side also to keep the equation equal, because whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side, otherwise it wouldn't be equal. If you subtract 5 from one side, you have to subtract 5 from the other side to keep it equal. So x squared minus 2 minus x equals x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. And let's factor this out. What times what gives us x squared, x, and x? You have a negative in the middle, so at least one of them has to be negative, and you have a negative at the end. That means one has to be negative, one has to be positive. What, when you multiply together, gives you a negative 2, and what, when you add together, gives you a negative x. So let's try 1 and negative 2. So let's try it out. Let's FOIL. First adder, inner last. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. 1 times x is a positive x. And negative 2x plus x is negative x, or negative 1x, because 1 times anything is itself. And last, 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. So therefore, this is the right way to factor it out. So either x plus 1 equals 0, because this over here has to equal 0. Either x plus 1 is equal to 0, and if x plus 1 is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 1, or x minus 2 equals 0, and that would make x equal to 2. Now we said y is equal to x. X is equal to y. So if x is negative 1, y has to be negative 1. If x is 2, y has to be 2. So which one? These are also the roots of the equation. Because when you make y equaling 0, that means that it's on the y-axis. It's not y is 1, y is not 2, y is not negative 1, y is 0. Right? So when y is 0, what is x? Negative 1 or 2. Now, if you would make a line that they would cross, at the point that they cross, it crosses at x is negative 1 and x is 2. That's where it crosses. That means it's probably a parabola. It's not like this. It's a parabola going like this, or a parabola going like this. And so let's look at the answers. The only answer that matches x equaling y and also x equaling x squared minus 2 or y equaling x squared minus 2 is answer 4, which is x is 2 and y is 2. So the correct answer to answer 10 is answer 4. Question 11. What is the vertex and axis of symmetry of the parabola shown in the diagram below? Well, the vertex is the highest or lowest point of the parabola, the middle of the parabola where it meets. So where does it meet? It meets by -2, -3. And that midpoint is also the axis of symmetry, because if you would have a mirror, if you would stand at x is equal to -2, you would see the same thing on both sides. So the axis of symmetry is -2, and the vertex is -2, -3, which is answer 1. Question 12. Pam is playing with red and black marbles. The number of red marbles she has is 3 more than twice the number of black marbles she has. She has 42 marbles in all. How many red marbles does Pam have? Remember, we're taking into account that she didn't lose any of her marbles. So she has 3 more plus 3. She has 3 more than 2 times the amount of black marbles. That's what she has red. Her red marbles is 2 times the amount of black plus 3. 3 more than 2 times the amount of black will equal the red. And we also know that she has 42 marbles. We know that the red marbles plus the black marbles will equal to 42 marbles. So since we know that the red marbles is equal to 2 times b plus 3, meaning 2 times the black plus 3, so instead of red, you could put in 2b plus 3, plus the black marbles will equal to 42. So get rid of the numbers first. Move all the numbers to one side and all the letters to the other. So you have 2 black plus black is 3 black plus 3. Subtract 3 from the left side. Do the same thing to the right side to keep the equation equal. So 3 black plus 3 minus 3 is just plain 3b. And the right side, 42 minus 3 is 39. So 3 times the amount of black marbles is equal to 39. How many black marbles does she have? Well, 3 times b is 39, so divided by 3 you get b. Divide 39 by 3, you get 13. So the amount of black marbles is 13. Now, they give that as answer 1, because some people, they're in a rush, or on a regent, a person has a lot of pressure on themselves. Make sure when you get the answer, read the question again. Before you write one of the answers, make sure you read the question over. The question is, how many red marbles does she have? If you would have picked answer 1, you would have answered how many black marbles does she have. And therefore, the amount of red marbles she has is 2 times the amount of black plus 3, which is 2 times the 13 black she has, plus 3. 2 times 13 is 26, plus 3 is 29. So the amount of red marble she has is 29. So therefore, the correct answer to question 12 is answer 3. The amount of red marble she has is 29. Question 13. What is half of 2 to the 6th power? So we want half of it, so take 2 to the 6th power divided by 2. And since you have the same base number, so you can do is 2 is just 2 to the 1st power, because you have just the number 2. So it's 2 to the 6th power divided by 2 to the 1st power is equal to 2 to the 6 minus 1 power, which is equal to 2 to the 5th power, which is answer 4. 2 to the 5th power is half of 2 to the 6th power. If you would work it out, you could do 2 to the 6th power is the same thing as 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 divided by 2. So you have 6 2's on top, 1 on bottom. So divide 2 from one of them. So you're left with 2 to the 5th power. Will give you the same answer. So the correct answer to question 13, what's half of 2 to the 6th power? The answer is answer 4, 2 to the 5th power. Question 14. Which equation represents a line that is parallel to the line y equals negative 4x plus 5? Well, the slope over here is x multiplied by negative 4. It's a negative slope, and that means as x is going up, y is going down. That's a negative correlation between x and y. When x goes down, goes to the negatives, y goes up. So we need something that's parallel to it, the same slope. So that means the slope we have is negative 4 times x. So we need another line that's parallel, another line that has negative 4 times x. It could be plus anything, could be minus anything, could also be just y equaling negative 4x. Not plus anything or not minus anything. If you look at the answers, the only answer that has the same slope of negative 4x is answer 1, negative 4x plus 3. Question 15. What is the product of x squared minus 1 over x plus 1 and x plus 3 over 3x minus 3? So, before we find the product, we have to see if there's anything we can cancel out that's on top and on bottom. So, x squared minus 1 is the same as x plus 1 times x minus 1. Why? Because x times x is x squared. Outer, x times negative 1 is negative x. Inner, x times 1 is positive x. So the positive and negative x cancel out. And last is 1 times negative 1 is negative 1. So therefore x squared minus 1 is x plus 1 times x minus 1. And we have times x plus 3 over x plus 1 times, now 3x minus 3 has a number in common that you could divide it by. That number is 3. Because 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So 3x minus 3 is equal to 3 times x minus 1. Because 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So x plus 1, over here is x plus 1, and 3x minus 3 is 3 times x minus 1. So what can we cancel out? This is x plus 1 on top, divided by x plus 1, and also x minus 1 on top, divided by x minus 1. What are we left with? We're left with the x plus 3 on top, and a plain 3 on the bottom, which gives you an answer of x plus 3 divided by 3, and that is answer 4. The correct answer to question 15 is answer 4, x plus 1 over 3.